Okay, so today I want to go over how alcohol affects your gains. Let's get into it. So, basically the way I'm going to go over this is I have a bunch of bullet points. If you see me looking this way, it's because I'm looking at my laptop, which has my bullet points on it. So these are not in any particular order. It's honestly just the way I came up with them. So first one is alcohol is going to affect your sleep. Even if you have one drink a night, let's say you just come home from work, whatever you're at, right? And you just want to have one drink for your sleep, you're already not going to have as good sleep as you could have. Now, I don't know the exact percentages of how much worse the sleep's going to be, but as if you watch any of my other videos, or if you just know anything about the recovery aspects of the gym, sleep is crucial. That's when you actually build muscle. And then obviously this amplifies for if you have a really big night out, you get crazy drunk or whatever, you're going to have awful sleep. You don't get into REM sleep, I believe, when you have alcohol. So your sleep is just not going to be good after you drink. So that's one way that alcohol is going to affect your gains, where in this aspect, I guess it's not really a direct correlation, but alcohol affects your sleep, which then is inherently going to affect your gains because you're not resting and recovering. Okay, so the next thing is alcohol mitigates muscle protein synthesis. So muscle protein synthesis is essential for building muscle, obviously. So alcohol in general is just going to mitigate that process. Okay, so the next thing is, I literally have it written down as empty calories. Alcohol is literal empty calories. If you've watched any of my other videos on cutting or whatever, you'll know that liquid calories are the thing that you want least of when you're trying to cut, just because they're not satiating. You don't get full from liquid calories. And don't quote me on this 100%, but I believe alcohol is actually the least satiating thing that you can have, literally. So if you're gonna have anything that you're gonna allot your calories to, if you're trying to lose weight or just whatever, you don't really want it to be liquid calories, as I've expressed. And then alcohol is even worse, because even if you have a protein shake, you might get full for me personally, it's probably an hour and a half, 2 hours I'll be full for. Or I won't be hungry again, better way to put it. Alcohol, there's no satiation factor at all, really. So it's pretty much just empty calories that you're adding into your diet. Let's say if you went out and had 6 drinks, if I had to estimate, most typical drinks are at 100 calories. That's an extra 600 calories. If you go watch my cutting video, a lot of the meals in that video are under 600 calories or around 600 calories. That's the equivalent of a meal that you now can't eat if you're trying to lose weight. Next thing is, as we all know, alcohol dehydrates you. That's why if you wake up the next day after a night out, your pee is gonna look yellow probably, because you're extremely dehydrated. And dehydration is just not good for you. We all know this. You hear this as a kid if you're playing sports. When it's really hot out there, the coaches and parents are afraid you're gonna get dehydrated. So dehydration is definitely not good. And alcohol is probably outside, if you just were outside exercising for an extremely long time in a lot of heat, the way most people get dehydrated, or just not drinking enough water. I will say though, you can mitigate that by either having water while you're drinking, after you're drinking, and drinking water the next day. It's just going to mitigate it a little bit, and the next day you can take the proper steps to fully rehydrate. Okay, and the next reason alcohol is affecting your gains is because of the hangover. If you drink enough and get a hangover, if you ever had a hangover, the next day you're going to be way less motivated to go get a workout in, stick to your diet, or whatever it is that day. So obviously you can try and push through, and that's honestly just up to your willpower and how much you drank that previous night and how bad the hangover is, because sometimes you can have a mild hangover that isn't that bad, and you can go get a workout in, go do your normal day, and you just have however a hangover affects you. But if it's a really bad hangover, you might be genuinely not able to go work out or stick to your diet for the beginning of the day. And that's just already now that alcohol is now taking a second day from you rather than just the initial day. This one I actually didn't know, but I found this out while doing some research for this video, that alcohol can actually increase the conversion of testosterone to estrogen. That is just in males though, or a majority in males, because it does this solely in the testicles. So because of that, obviously that's only going to happen in men. because men only have testicles. So that was something really interesting to learn. And obviously, testosterone is extremely important for you to put on muscle. And just like you want to have high testosterone just for even just feeling good in general. But that's another reason that alcohol is affecting your gains. Next one is alcohol can lead to increased fat storage on your body. And the way it actually does this is when your body is trying to process alcohol, what your body does is, let's say you had a meal before, and obviously, let's say you had a meal with carbs, proteins, fats, right? Once alcohol has entered your system, so let's say you ate like 2 hours before you started drinking that night or whatever, right? Once your body starts trying to process the alcohol, what your body actually does is it takes the metabolization of the carbs, fats, and proteins and puts it on the back burner. And it prioritizes getting rid of the alcohol because alcohol is treated like poison once it is in your body. So what that does is now the alcohol is going to be metabolized, but those carbs, fats, and proteins are now, as I said, because they're on the back burner, they're much more likely to be put into storage. What is storage? It's going to probably be fat storage. So that's why a lot of times you hear that like drinking can increase the fat in your body and give you like, you'll hear like a beer belly. And in essence, it is true that like drinking will increase the fat on you, but that's only due to the fact that you're going to have an increased calories, and then your body is trying to metabolize the alcohol, so it puts everything else in the back burner, and then that gets put into fat storage. Technically, if you did want to base it just off calories in, calories out, if you were able to stick to the correct amount of calories for your diet or your maintenance, your cut, whatever it is, technically you wouldn't have an increased fat storage just because you'd still be burning up the amount of calories you need to every day. So it's kind of one of those like wishy-washy things where like in essence it's likely true because most of the time when you're drinking you're not taking that into account in your diet. But if you were to, you might have like a slight increase in like fat storage or whatever, but it's not going to be as big as if you weren't taking into account the alcohol. Okay, so that is it on how alcohol affects your gains. On the end screen, I'm going to tag 2 videos. That one is about like how the best alcohols to drink to not kill your gains, and then just like my cutting videos one, because if you're watching this and you're curious about how alcohol affects your gains, you're probably trying to cut, would be my guess. So I'm going to put that one as well. I hope you enjoyed. Send this to anyone you know who's a gym rat but does also drink. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you all next Sunday at 5 p.m. Catch you there.